Hello Virgo, and welcome to your May 2021 video. So your ruler is going to go into retrograde on the 30th of May. So that's important for you to note this month in May, especially for you. So just be aware of it, because Mercury retrograde, being your ruler, can create a lot of delays. It can create a lot of where you have miscommunication within your relationships. It's also a time where you just don't feel mentally focused. And a lot of things tend to happen during a retrograde. Exes, situations from the past pop up. So it's important for you to be aware. It affects us all, but being your ruler, it has a more profound effect on you. Okay, and Jupiter is also going to move into the sign of Pisces within this month, and that's important as well, because normally Jupiter stays in a sign within a whole year, but this year it will be changing signs until the 29th of July, and it will also go back towards the end of the year into Pisces. So that's important. On the 4th, we have Mercury entering your 10th house, and on the 9th, we have Venus also entering your 10th house. Now, the 10th house is the house of the world, career, our purpose. What do we put out there about ourselves? So around the 4th, you're going to be thinking more about your long-term goals, what do you want for the future? What do you want? What do you want to create for yourself? This is also a time where you might be thinking about finances, thinking about your future basically, and what's important to you. Venus there, it really wants you to connect to your heart and what you feel really pull towards. What does your heart pull you towards when it comes to your work aspects? Now, if you're not working and retired, this still has an impact in a sense of purpose. Like, what do we do that makes us feel still like we have purpose and we can give back to others? This can be simple things. Maybe when it comes to family, all of a sudden you taking charge and lead, so to speak. So that's very important. Also dealing with Venus there, it's like where you actually feel like this is important to you. This is what you want to accomplish. This is what you want as a goal. It can be family, it can be a project, it can be a hobby, but it's something that you eventually want to put out, because it is the work hard. And also what we study. Because when we study things, when we take up new interests, they can oftentimes be profitable for us. It's something we work at. It's something that we gain knowledge, and it's important. And that's the thing about the 10th house. It's what's important to you. What do you see yourself doing? That's very important. On the 11th, we have a new moon, and this will be happening in your 9th house. So the 9th house, new moon, new beginnings. This is a time where, again, education, information, travel, wanting to basically, change your perspective, do something new, gain information, belief systems, and connecting to those that basically have, a feeling of a soul family. The 9th house is about connectivity, and in a big way as well, either through learning, teaching, sharing of information, traveling, or, even if you can't travel, sometimes it's just taking a small trip away from your day-to-day routine, a break, a vacation, something to take you out of everything. And that sometimes does a world of difference for us. That's when we grow the most. That's when we come back refreshed, renewed. Experience is everything. And the 9th house is a lot about gaining a different experience that actually helps us. On the 14th, we have Jupiter in your 7th house. Jupiter in the 7th house, this is very good for relationships, marriage, contracts, all of those kinds of things. And you might be even thinking of ways about your relationship. Jupiter offers luck, opportunity, and expansion to your relationship sector. And this can also be business related, because the 7th house not only rules our personal relationships, but also our financial relationships, the people that we have to relate to, the people we work with. So this is a very prosperous time with that Jupiter energy coming into the 7th house. Now, it's important to know, since this is only going to be till 29th of July, this is when we're going to be planting seeds for next year. So when Jupiter goes into Pisces at the end of this year and into next year. So basically now is the time where you might be thinking and concentrating about your relationship, healing within your relationship, just shifting the energy. Jupiter likes us to learn. It wants us to learn through experience and gain wisdom and offer us opportunities. Yes, there's opportunities, but it is a learning and evolving experience with Jupiter in that 7th house. So on the 21st, the sun also enters into your 10th house. Look at this 10th house, hey, career, work, all of those things. Purpose. How do you put yourself out to the world? What message do you send? What do you want to expand on, and can you see yourself long-term doing? It's important, the 10th house, because this is where we feel like, okay, this is where I share the best. This is what I provide for. This is what makes me feel like I'm of value to this world, whether that's purpose, studying something, or even career. On the 26th, we have a lunar eclipse, and this will be in your 4th house of home. So here you might even be thinking about your home situation, moving home, changing home, or making adjustments within your home, especially with the lunar eclipse. It's important to note with lunar eclipses, and once we enter eclipse cycles, this takes us into next 3 to 6 months. So you might be having these ideas, but they might start coming around. But now around this time with this 4th house energy, it'll be a lot more on your mind about making these changes, especially with the lunar eclipse. And it wants us to make a big release. And to your emotional self, the 4th house deals with family. It deals with our emotions. How do we emotionally feel comfortable in our environment and physically? So it could be physical or emotional, but it's a lot to do with family, our family environment, creating balance, creating harmony, looking at situations that aren't working in our home situation and wanting to basically provide ourselves with more peace and harmony within these relationships, whether it's family or within your home. It's a good time to change things up in your home, because when you do that, we actually feel a lot better. Small adjustments. You might want to move something. You might want to buy something new. You might want to improve the space, declutter. Those kinds of actions is very much good for that energy shift into, like, once we declutter, we make room for new things to come in. Then on the 30th, we have Mercury Retrograde. It's important during Mercury Retrograde to not start any new projects. We can complete things that we started before the Mercury Retrograde. Good time to complete, great time to rest, reflect, review, sometimes even redo things. Technology gets a bit wonky, so be aware of that. Miscommunication when Mercury goes into retrograde, because Mercury rules communication. We oftentimes can find ourselves feeling a bit foggy mentally as well. Contracts, really read the fine print. Anything that you're doing when it comes to reading or signing of contracts during a Mercury retrograde, read and reread, and then reread before you sign, because oftentimes when Mercury retrograde is done, we feel like, oh, I didn't see that. So that's important. Remember that situations from the past can come up, be it people or even just experiences. Mercury retrograde oftentimes gives us the opportunity to reflect on the past, to see how far we've come. What lessons do we learn? What lessons have we learned? And do we want to sometimes repeat it? So hopefully you don't repeat anything. And how we do that is just looking at the choices we made when Mercury wasn't in retrograde, and now that it is in retrograde, just looking back at the choices you've made. So your card for May is to have faith. Okay. Your prayers are manifesting, remain positive, and allow your guidance to flow. So follow your guidance. Yeah. This is a very important card, given that Mercury retrograde is happening in May and eclipse season. That's important to have faith within yourself in order to manifest. This does not mean ignoring your negative feelings. We all have negative feelings from time to time, but it is a time to work with your shadow. Like, okay, what are my feelings? How do I feel, unconfident, lacking self-worth, and how can I improve those things? And sometimes that means making adjustments to your life via either physically or either emotionally, through relationships, through situations. Thank you so much for watching, and do like and subscribe.